Highway Suncoast is proud to again be one of the sponsors of the Juneteenth Reading Conference being staged by the Rosalyn, Walton Education and Enrichment Services Organization in Manatee County. Joining us to share more about this celebration is the founder and president of Rosalyn, Walton Education and Enrichment Services, Dr. Sharon Jefferson. Dr. Jefferson, welcome back to Suncoast Snapshot.
And thank you for having me once again.
Tell us what's going to be happening over the next 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Well, in response to our focus, our shared focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, that is exactly why the Reading Conference was founded or started about 6 years ago. So we looked at the data where it concerned under-resourced children in our community, minority students in our community. We looked at the reading data, and we were concerned about the gaps in literacy or reading achievement. And so that is why we began the Juneteenth Reading Conference. We also wanted to pay homage to the legacy of Juneteenth, the freedom that was finally given to enslaved African Americans in 1865. And as we all know, during the time of slavery, African Americans were not allowed to read. It was illegal for anyone to teach them to read or for them to learn to read on their own. So with that in mind, we wanted to celebrate freedom by embracing literacy and making sure that we are given these opportunities. We're so happy that we've been able to partner and collaborate with so many organizations, such as the United Way, to break down some of those systemic barriers that have kept under-resourced kids or minority kids behind. So thank you so much again for that.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. And I really appreciate the historical connection between reading and Juneteenth. I also appreciate the fact that you hope to give kids a feeling of attending a professional conference. Just briefly, tell me a little bit about that. That sounds terrific.
Yes, well, we all in our professions, we can just think about how we feel when we go to one of our professional conferences. We experience new things. We learn different things. And then we come back to our workplaces and we're all fired up. We're passionate and we're ready to make some move. We're ready to just take on the world, basic. And so that's the idea behind the Reading Conference. We want to get the kids fired up about reading and learning. We want them to feel empowered, and we want to raise their self-esteem so that when they go back into school in August, they feel so much more confident and ready to learn.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I know you like to tell the kids that literacy is the pathway to freedom.
Absolutely.
With that in mind, you are again bringing in Cornbread book series author, Mr. Vincent Taylor. Correct. What does Mr. Taylor bring to the celebration?
Okay. Well, let me talk a little bit about our schedule. So the conference begins on June 16th. And so we have about 35 kids who are already signed out. So unfortunately, we've reached capacity for this year, but we hope to continue to grow. So on the 16th, our children will be involved in enrichment activities such as art with painting with a twist. So really thankful for them coming out. We're very grateful also for the Manatee Gardeners program. We're going to focus on agriculture innovation as we learn more about George Washington Carver and his innovation in the field of agriculture. We're also going to have with us the Manatee Public Library, who's going to bring their STEAM bus. On the 17th, that afternoon, we will have an open presentation for the entire community at 1:00 p.m. at the 13th Avenue Dream Center. So there we will have Mr. Vincent Taylor, who is an educator and an author from Jacksonville, Florida, and his mascot, Cornbread. And so they're going to engage our kids in a rhythmic music field, hip hop, reading presentation that is actually based on our state standards. So when you come to the presentation, you'll see how Mr. Taylor is intentional about addressing those standards that the kids need to know as they prepare or begin to take their state assessment tests. We will take a field trip to the State College of Florida, where the kids will be engaged in learning how to program drones, and also participate in a drone competition.
Yeah, and the community festival will also have some health screenings and some other fun activities. It sounds like it's just going to be a grand time for all involved.
Yeah, so the festival will convene on the 18th, once again at the 13th Avenue Dream Center. So this is our second time consecutive year of doing the Juneteenth Community Festival. And the purpose behind the Community Festival is one to definitely continue that legacy. Those emancipated slaves in Galveston, Texas on June 19th, 1865. The very next year in 1866, they had their first festival. And so we're going to bring that festival for the second year here in Manatee County at 13th Avenue Dream Center. And the purpose behind the festival is for us to all remember that it takes all of us in the fight towards equity and justice. So just as it did in 1865, when that movement began with emancipation, on through all the different civil rights era, even up into 2022, it's a reminder that we are all responsible for freedom, equity, and opportunity in our society, making sure that everyone has access.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We always talk about at United Way Suncoast, giving people the freedom to rise, and that is a united effort. So, Dr. Jefferson, thank you so much for joining us today. To learn more about the Juneteenth Festival, please visit recessforall.org. The web address is on your screen right now. And to learn more about United Way Suncoast, you can visit unitedwaysuncoast.org. And again, I want to thank you, Dr. Jefferson. And as always, united we rise.
United we win.
Yes. Yes, Dr. Jefferson.